Close of play of the third day of the first test between England and New Zealand at Lord's sees this test match tantalisingly poised, with England on 216 for 5. They need 61 more runs to win, with those 5 wickets in hand. Joe Root, the former captain, is 77 not out. He's played absolutely brilliantly after losing the new captain, Ben Stokes, for a very good 54. He hit 3 sixes in that. They put on 90 together. That after Stokes was bowled for 1 off a ball that was then ruled to be a no ball from de Grandhomme, who's gone off injured. Ben Foakes and Root have added 57, of which Foakes has scored 9, but has given really good support to his former captain. Lees 20, Crawley 9, Pope 10, Bairstow 16. That was 69 for 4 when he was bowled by Jameson, and it looked very rocky indeed for England. A 3-day defeat was looming. But that partnership between Stokes and Root started things and the momentum going England's way. New Zealand's bowlers clearly tired. They're without de Grandhomme, who's gone off injured with an ankle injury, a heel injury. And so he was unable to bowl, and the others clearly found it hard work. But they'll be well rested in the morning. There is a new ball tomorrow, but not until 15 overs have been bowled. So you would think that England should be pretty close to their target by the time that new ball is called upon, and it'll be this much softer ball up until then. Earlier on, New Zealand were bowled out for 285. England did what they had to do in that morning session. They took the 6 wickets that were required. Stuart Broad, well, there's an extraordinary over in which he first of all had Darryl Mitchell caught behind for 108. Next ball, Colin de Grandhomme was struck on the pad. There was an appeal for leg before wicket, and de Grandhomme just sort of wandered about. And Ollie Pope threw the stumps down direct from slip and ran him out for naught. It was an extraordinary moment. Next ball, Kyle Jameson was bowled by Broad, and Lord was absolutely rocking. But Blundell finished with 96. It was a useful 21 from Southey. And bowling figure-wise, Anderson took 2 wickets, 3 for Broad and Potts. And Parkinson picked up his first wicket, which was the last wicket to fall when Southey was caught by Root at slip. So that setting on 277 to win. They're 216 for 5. Michael Vaughan, I know, has enjoyed the day. Again, it's been the third day, really. And that's the beauty of Test cricket. It just is. You just don't know what to expect.
Yeah, I mean, you go through the 3 days and we've seen lots of indifference, particularly with the bat in hand. But I have to say, it's been very entertaining.
Yeah.
And I think it adds to it. I mean, the pitch has done quite a bit at times. It flattens out. We know that once you get past that 30 over mark, it gets easy. We saw that from that partnership from the New Zealanders yesterday. Magnificent. But character, I mean, you look at both sides. The character that both sides have shown, because New Zealand were out of the game on day one. They showed a huge amount of character to come back into the contest. Then they got ahead of the game this morning. We arrived and thought, oh, if England get the last 6 wickets for another 100, they've got a little sniff, but they don't. They go and blow New Zealand away with a huge amount of character, skill. That 3 and 3, Stuart Broad and the run out. De Grandhomme's had one of those days, I was big call. He's had a day where
Is that a bad one?
You can't, yeah, and someone's trying to run across the pitch with his shoes and socks off here, and the stewards are going to get him, which is great. Yeah, De Grandhomme's had one of those days that he'll look back on and not possibly want to talk too much about, but England showed great character. Then they came out with the bat in hand and it looked vulnerable, looked tricky, particularly when Johnny Bairstow got out playing just a stupid shot. Jameson's last ball, he just played a big waft outside the off stump. He's into his 8th over, so you think he's not going to bowl a 9, so just play him out. He's the danger man, and he plays a big shot, gets bowled through the gate, and I thought then that's it. Particularly with the way that Ben Stokes came out and played for the first 30-40 minutes, he looked all over the place.
Well, he, again, advancing down the pitch.
I don't get it.
I don't get it, because he played beautifully later on, just standing areas and just played properly.
And all I say, look, Ben Stokes is a different cricketer to most. He does things that I guess are out of the box. But I think he's a better player than dancing down the pitch to a 75 miles an hour bowler in de Grandhomme. You know, I'd say to him, look at Kumar Sangakkara, a magnificent left-hander. Would Kumar Sangakkara do that? I'm not saying he's in Kumar's level at this stage, but I think he's such a good player that don't give the bowler anything. No. You don't need to.
Well, he was bowled for 1. Doing that.
Well, that was part of Cole's day, wasn't it? Colin's day just went from bad to worse, I'm afraid. And then he obviously got the injury and he walked off the pitch. But you know, I think Ben's a better player than dancing down, and you know, yes, he's trying to unsettle the bowlers, but I don't think he needs to. I think he's too good a player to offer that kind of that risk. Once Ben went, you thought, yeah, that's probably it.
Yep.
Full credit to Ben, folks. He came out and he's not played shots. He's just hung in there. And what Joe Root did, Joe Root just read the game and he read the situation. He upped his tempo. He thought, okay, Ben was the more aggressive player when I was with him. He's gone. I've got to just step it up because, for England to get over the line, and I have England as favourites. I do. I think they're favourites from this position. But, we know that 8, 9, 10, 11, you wouldn't want to count on too many.
That's the problem. Yeah.
Yeah, so tomorrow morning, a few clouds around. This ball is old, but I thought Stuart Broad actually set the tone brilliant with the old ball this morning. He just ran in and he just got a little bit of something. And I think there'll be a lot more. I'm not saying it's going to be a huge amount, but there will be more off the surface and through the air in the morning. Yes. It always happens in the morning here at Lord's, even with an old ball.
It's going to be cloudy.
So New Zealand, they'll be in that dressing room thinking, well, you know what, we're up against it a little bit, but they're only a snick away. They're only a Joe Root dismissal away from really being the favourites to win this game.
We don't know a lot about Potts' batting, do we? I mean, unfortunately, the evidence of the first innings, I know it was a second ball duck, but it just was a horrible dismissal. I mean, he might be better than that. I think he averages 17 or 18 in first class.
I reckon he's better than that.
Well, I hope he is.
Yeah, I reckon. I just wonder whether it's worth changing the order.
You're putting up Broad,
just depending on how close they get, but it might be that Potts goes in next, but you get close, just throw Broad there to play a few shots and try and get it done and dusted. It's all on Joe. I mean, we're in for potentially an incredible day where Joe Root could get 100.
Yep.
Joe Root could get past 10,000 test runs. I think it's going to be the same kind of age as Alistair Cook. Exactly the same day that Alistair Cook got past his 10th, and in terms of age, and England may get a victory. But we know with England, we know with this Test match team, when you haven't won for such a long period of time, watch it on your chair, you're falling off there.
A wobbly wheel.
When you've only won 1 in 17, it's always hard to win. It's always difficult.
But therefore, how significant would it be for England to win this match?
Massive.
Yeah, start of a new era and all that stuff. They talked about blank canvases and all new coaches and so on. It should.
Well, it sent a huge amount of positivity that England would have won a Test match from arriving on day 3 with not a great deal of a chance.
Yeah.
And if they can get over the line and they chase down a target that it's not a huge target, but you don't see too many teams chase down these kind of targets in the UK in Test match cricket, and for them to do so, what would we have learnt? Would have learnt that they've got a bit of a character, and I'm sure that Ben Stokes and Brendan McCullum's been very positive around the group, and to get that put across and to get that first win at the first time of asking would be huge. But let's be honest about the Test match team. We've not learnt a great deal. We know that when the ball moves around, they're very strong with the ball in hand. We know that the batting's vulnerable and they rely on Joe Root and Ben Stokes. Well, that's been proven to be the case.
I was going to say that, and apart from Potts has obviously been significant with the ball, actually they've relied also on Anderson and Broad. So yeah, as far as those players who were looking to step up, you have to say there hasn't been much from.
No, and again, that's so important, that victory for those players that are struggling, because if they lose, the pressure does build on Lees and Crawley and Pope. Johnny's played a couple of iffy shots in this Test match, and Johnny Bairstow, whether he likes it or not, I'm going to say it, he's a better player when he's got a point to prove. So when Johnny's coming back into the team, point to prove, brilliant, Sydney, magnificent. Yeah. Once he gets settled in the team, just look at his career. He comes out and plays like he has done this week, like a trillionaire. Yeah. Billion, he probably is. He plays a lot of IPL cricket. He's got a load of dosh, but the way that he's batted this week has just been too risky. He's a better player than that.
He was really ticking today, wasn't he? And funny enough, I was on the telly next door, and he actually, like everyone else, they were thinking, oh dear, this could be bad. But actually, at the start of that over from Jameson, he actually did a couple of really good leaves. They were tempting, they were foolish, they were ones that he might have driven. And they're thinking, perhaps he is going to knuckle down here, and yes, play some shots, but responsibly. Yeah. But then, boom.
Yeah, and all the talk, in this Red Bull reset, the high performance review, looking at the game. Of course, you have to look at those aspects, but there is a lot of talent in that dressing room that could be playing better, and I think a lot of it's down to thinking. I looked at that moment. Jameson, you knew it was going to be his last over. Joe Root, whether he's done it or not, you've got to get together as a pair.
Yes.
And you said, let's just see him off. Let's get rid of him.
Yeah.
Guess what? The spinner might come on.
Yeah.
Or Southey might come on and bowl us a few looseners, and get us away a bit. But let's get rid of Jameson. He's 6'6". He's just getting enough out of the surface. Let's not give him another boost. So it's just dumb cricket. And this Test match team, as I keep saying, has got lots and lots of talent. You look at the white ball team, huge amount of talent, but they're streetwise. They're streetwise cricketers. They know how to win that situation. This Test match team for a long, long time has been playing that kind of cricket where they offer the opposition an easy kind of win, an easy wicket, an easy kind of moment. And for them to be a good side, it's that I look at and think, you've got to be more streetwise. You've got to be better than that.
And there are one or two strange theories going on. I mean, we've talked about Alec Lees's techniques. I mean, that's a bit odd.
Yeah.
Ollie Pope, because he's still batting around that off-stump area. Again, that's quite unusual. And I have to say, I mean, Ben Stokes charging down the pitch and so on. I mean, I just wonder if one of the first things that McCullum says to them is, can we just go back to basics here, everybody?
Simplicity.
Can we just go out and play like most people have batted for over 100 years?
What they should do is that they should go to all the players and say, who are your heroes in the game? And they'll list them all, won't they? That probably is Kumar Sangakkara, Mahela Jayawardene, Virat Kohli. And just go and watch the way they play. Do they dance down? No, they don't. Do they bat a yard outside? No, they don't. They played very neutral. I thought the 20 that Alex Lee scored today were the best 20 I've seen him score for England Test match cricket, because he was neutral.
Yep.
He was batting on middle stump. When he was outside off, he lent one and he went through extra cover off Tim Southey. It was a beautiful shot.
Yeah.
And he got a full ball, I think, from either Bolt or from Jameson. He leant straight down the ground. He flicked a couple on the onside because he had options on both sides of the wicket. When he bats outside of off stump, you're basically saying, I'm just going to score on the onside. I'm nullifying the offside of the game. So I thought those 20 runs that he scored today was a promising 20. I know it's only 20 and it's not a big number, but I would say to him, if you carry on playing like I've seen you play today, with that mindset, with that positivity, but with that neutral technique as well, I think he could get quite a few runs.
And Pope, first match at 3. What do you think of his shot today? I felt, by the sound of it, I might be a bit harsh, but I thought, I mean, he was turning it.
I thought it was a Jaffa
to mid wicket. You think it did just hold its own?
I thought it was a Jaffa. At the minute, I don't think he looks like a number 3. Does that mean he can't be number 3 going forward? No, of course he can, but he'll have to learn quickly. The one thing that concerns me about Ollie when I watch him is that I don't see I don't know I don't see him really looking like he's enjoying batting. It looks like it's quite serious. You look at Joe. I know Joe's about to get 10,000 runs and he's one of the greats of the game, but he just all looks like he's got this inner zen. He's got this inner calmness. And Ollie's balance on the front foot just worries me that he doesn't seem to be able to play a balanced forward defence. And when he plays a few of those shots early through the offside, you see that right hip comes in and he loses balance. So I think he needs to work out a little bit of his inner zen and calmness, and also that balance on the front foot can be a lot better. But he's certainly got a lot of talent.
Thank you, Michael, very much. Let's nip to the other end of the ground. Stuart Broad's talking to Allison Mitchell.
Stuart, another seesawing day of cricket. Talk me through that crazy spell this morning with those 3 wickets.
Yeah, it was really enjoyable actually. It was great to get the crowd going, get the crowd behind the team, and we knew. I think we all went to bed last night knowing that new ball had to count. I think if New Zealand got up past 300, 320, then that's a much taller ask. So we had to make some breakthroughs. How about Popey's bit of fielding as well? I sort of appealed for the LBW and then appealed to square leg for the run out. So yeah, things went our way with that new ball, but we had to execute that to give ourselves a chance. And I think as a bowling group we can be very, very proud of that. The way we bounced back from yesterday, we didn't get much out of the pitch yesterday afternoon, to be honest. Didn't get much movement or create too many problems. Although I thought both the New Zealand guys played fantastically well. So to strike back this morning was great for us as a bowling group, and then it's game on, isn't it?
Did you feel this morning at the very first thing that it was a little flat? There was something that was a little flat. You noticeably whipped up the crowd and then fed off it. Yeah,
I mean, obviously I bowled 1 over with the old ball, but I was running in actually in the middle of my run-up thinking, it feels quiet. Like it's a quiet sense around Lords. So yeah, we needed the momentum to swing our way, and the crowd always in England for us plays such a big part in that. So I said to Potsy at mid-off, I said, should I get the crowd going here? He's like, yeah, go on, that'd be great. So I just started slowly, and fortunately got a wicket quite soon after doing it, and then all the crowd really bought into it, and it was a brilliant atmosphere.
Like even during the batting innings, twists and turns again, Ben Stokes, what was the reaction in the dressing room when it was thought he was out, then it was a no ball?
Celebration then, yeah, it was, and then he managed to get a great 50, played a really good knock, and if he was still batting now, it's probably close to game over, isn't it? He was playing with such freedom and striking the ball really nicely. So, yeah, it was a real shame. A big wicket, great bowling from Jameson, I thought, to get Stokes out the way he did. Just followed him down the hill. But then the way Folkesy and Rooty batted that last hour was really calm and how they want to approach their game. So, yeah, I mean, 2 results possible tomorrow, aren't they? And, we've got to feel confident of going to chase these runs.
Has there been a sort of message around what type of approach to take in this run chase? I mean, particularly Ben, when we know how he plays and how aggressively he can play, is there a particular message sort of coming from him and Brendan?
Yeah, Brendan was on the mindset of treat it like a one-day innings. I think a one-day group wouldn't be nervous about chasing 270. So have that positive mindset. The pitch isn't massively conducive to amazing stroke play. I think Stokesy used his feet quite a bit and struggled to find a rhythm to start, but he stuck to his guns and really put pressure on the New Zealand bowlers. I think what's important going into tomorrow is we don't just let the New Zealand bowlers just hit line and length and just settle in, because they're world-class bowlers and they'll be able to do that. So at the end of the day, we're not out there to survive, we're there to score these final runs that we need, and every individual's going to have a different way of doing that.
Joe Root isn't far away from 10,000 runs, which he could well get tomorrow. I mean, he just keeps churning them out, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's played a great innings today. He's someone who has been so reliable for so many years now. He sort of calms the changing room down when he walks out to bat, and just he almost got into one-day mode that last half hour, didn't he? Nicking twos and playing, running it down to third man, and he's got such a calm nature about him. I think he holds the key tomorrow, doesn't he? He's someone that New Zealand will be desperate to get out, and from our point of view, if he's not out at the end, we stand a great chance.
You could yet be needed with the bat. You never know, Stuart.
Well, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it if I get a chance. I love batting at Lords. It's a great place to get value for runs, and I think there's going to be it'll be a close game tomorrow. There's going to be some excitement around.
Could yet be more twists. Good luck tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think there certainly will. And Stuart Broad saying 2 results are possible. Actually, 3 are possible. It could be a tie. Who knows?
Could be a super
Who knows,
over.
Jeremy? I know super. We're not going to have.
Right, yeah.
We're not going to have a super
Okay.
over now. It has been a remarkable game, hasn't it?
It's been a compelling game,
Yes.
and it's building, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think we should also just keep in mind the first innings efforts of both teams.
Yeah.
Just as a thought, and when we've seen a partnership develop and the pitches stop nibbling just a wee bit, neither side has been able to find anyone in the resources that they could grab hold of the game, and both sides I felt looked a bit fatigued,
Yes.
frankly.
Yeah.
No attacking spinner they could go to, no really quick that they could go to. I thought the 6 for 40 today, certainly people like Mitchell and Jameson and Blundell and Patel, less Southey I think, but they were got out. I think probably with the new ball, de Grandhomme found his own way. And I thought 270 should really have been extended to 300, to be honest with you. And I think perhaps, New Zealand, when you look at the differences now as how close the game is, which is exciting, and that's great for as people have been talking about the entertainment. England have 12 extras out of the 2 innings. New Zealand have 42. Now that's quite a major difference in those of mistakes.
Yeah.
And the kind of thing is encapsulated almost by the non-dismissal of Stokes.
Yeah.
In this innings, what you had was someone frenetically coming down the pitch, getting a bottom edge into the stumps, only to be reprieved because it's a no ball.
Yeah.
So mistakes all round on the same delivery. So I do think 17 wickets in an innings is quite a lot. In a day is quite a lot. You're smiling at me.
Well, no, I agree
But
with you. No, I completely agree.
I'm just trying to say it looks a bit like 6 versus 9 in the World Test Championship.
As Joe Stilgo said, I thought quite accurately at lunchtime, it feels like a dress rehearsal because no one's quite ready.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
Yeah.
I mean, and England, if they go ahead to win, well, that's okay. New Zealand, I think, have given them chances right throughout. After bowling New Zealand out, England had a chance. At none for 60, they had a chance. And when Conway was fourth out and they were perhaps 30 ahead, they had a chance.
Yeah.
And now, of course, they're going to get another. So they've been provided with a lot of chances.
It's root or bust, isn't it? I mean, either way, do you think, as far as England are concerned, and indeed New Zealand?
Well, I think they've got close enough with enough overs remaining tomorrow, despite New Zealand's chances, because A, they're fresher, and B, there's a new ball. But they may not get very close to them. There may be hardly any runs once the new ball arrives.
Yes, correct, because that's 15 overs away.
Yeah.
So it may be of
lesser importance,
little consequence.
unless they can get one wicket and it happens to be root.
It would certainly do an awful lot for England's flagging.
Well, they've got to start
confidence
again.
to win.
Oh.
Yes, if they can win this game. But well, similarly, New Zealand have come with the little preparation that they've had.
Yeah.
Would be a very fine affair. It has been an extraordinary game of cricket so far, and I suspect we haven't had the last twist or turn in it so far. But New Zealand, 45 for 7 on the first day, are still very much in this game.